Great start, everyone.
Alright, what's up, guys, and welcome to the first rebranded roundtable discussion and the third of podcast of its kind. I'm joined by Deano, my usual co-host,
Hello.
Tanner, my occasional co-host,
What up?
and our guest today, Tippa Canoe from the Canoe Tippers.
What's going on, guys?
Alright. So, the first thing we should talk about, I think, is the thing that happened last week, which was our departure from PSUK. I thought we'd get it out of the way and just discuss it in whole with a lot of the people here.
Go for it. You want to take the torch and lead this?
I think Tanner should start because this is the replacement for the Tanner update.
Tanner,
Why we left
update
PSUK
us.
update?
The update for what happened, or...
Just for what happened, we'll talk about what's going up on the channel at the end of the show.
Okay, well, what happened was a few of us, mainly the people from the round table, had spoken previously about how we felt the way the PSUK was going, and we pretty much decided that we talked outside of the PSUK chat enough and played games together enough to know that that we felt we could do it on our own, maybe build up our own, because a lot of what PSUK was built on was people that created the channel and then just left it to me, and so we thought we would try to do it maybe on our own.
Just cut out the middleman and build it up off of yourself instead of what was already set up for you. I mean, it kind of makes sense. What direction do you
Really, when you
feel-
thought about it, the
a
only way it
small
was going to
group of
happen were people going to realize, oh, hey, all these YouTubers that made this channel aren't even on this channel. Why am I sub to it? So as you can see now,
Yeah.
they're losing subs every day, and
It's-
that's basically how I thought it was going to go.
I think one of the directions we're going to take with this one is a much smaller group of people, because one of the problems we had was a lot of generations, really, of overpopulation. From the first one to the second one, there was, even when we narrowed it down the first time, it overpopulated again. And what was happening is, one, there was inactive directors, right? And two,
Correct.
there was an unorganized just set of people there, where the channel was a select group of people uploading single videos, and I think what we wanted was a small group of people who did a lot of collaboration stuff, and put
Which
more
you can see
quality.
now on the channel.
Hopefully it's quality.
We have a lot
So,
of fans this channel.
the direction it was heading in, you guys didn't like because it was more people doing their own thing instead of more of a community type channel. So you guys decided it was better to set up your own community channel and have the official rebranding of yourselves as Roundtable HD instead of affiliating with Project Synergy UK to make your own essentially community channel instead of a channel where people just shamelessly post anything they want.
Yeah, it wasn't even series, it was just single videos at times, like episode ones. And if you look at this channel now, it's kind of just turned into FIFA. And
Yeah,
Football
because the people that I'm not going to name, they just delete all the videos.
Manager. Oh, yeah,
Except
the
their
fir-
own.
As soon as we
Except
left, there
their
was a bunch of dictators basically who came in, and
It-
now it's being run by Kipaswish, who I think is a lot better.
Yeah, but he's on holiday for like 2 weeks, so he's got his friends
great.
on the channel for him.
So,
Yeah, typically your video's gone from there as well.
Oh, really? They deleted them?
Yeah, they deleted your whole series.
yeah,
Nice,
it is a
nice.
podcast.
Well, for those of you who don't know, I was a director for, I was an active director for like 2 weeks and then a non-active one up until today usually. And the reason I kind of stopped posting videos was not necessarily because I wasn't really netting the views or likes or comments. It was just because the channel itself was more based around football and Football Manager and things of that nature, and maybe Red Dead. I know a few videos of that were up, and but
All mine.
it was more geared to a different audience than a Gary's Mod Scare series would be. So I
Yeah.
figured it wasn't really the right market to put out my videos in, which is why I kind of stopped posting, because instead of changing my style of videos, I decided it was a better idea just to kind of go inactive and just see what would happen. And this is what happened.
Yeah.
So
And now we have our channel where we aim at a massive audience.
Yeah,
Because we had
got
Civ 5 on the
lots of
channel,
things.
and we
Yeah.
got the return of our Indie Spotlight videos.
We've literally got one football video, and it's not even Football Manager or FM or FIFA, the two big ones.
right.
It's
Is there
really-
is there a big audience on YouTube that primarily watch FIFA, because off the top of my head I can think of one guy
Yeah.
that only posts FIFA. I can't remember his name. I think it's like Neps or something like that. But there's only one guy that I can think of that only posts FIFA videos that are popular. Like I can't really think of an audience besides his channel. So is FIFA that popular on YouTube, or
I
FIFA is
assume it
extremely popular in general.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Is
I
it?
think
Because-
there's at least, I think, probably 5 that I could name that have over 200,000 subs where they started at FIFA,
can
and
you
then as
see?
they kind of build, they started doing other things.
See, soccer is really not my cup of tea, so I'm not really completely enlightened on what all is out there, because
I think
it's just
there's-
not what I watch.
I think there's two main markets, and that's the FM videos and the FIFA videos. And the FM market is a lot lower in terms of subscribers, but there's more people who've got a decent amount of subscribers. And with FIFA, it's a bigger market, but there's not that many people doing it.
So I don't know if you want to cover this later in the podcast or you like to cover it now, but what kind of direction and content do you guys plan on posting on Roundtable HD?
I think we can cover that now.
Awesome, go for it.
Collaboration stuff is what I've got from it, basically. The indie spotlight and then a lot of collaboration stuff.
So videos with other directors on the channel to kind of highlight the channel as a community is what you guys are looking for.
Instead of doing like collaboration stuff that we post on both of our channels, I think all the collaboration stuff would to go onto the Roundtable now. So it's a hub of all of us working together.
To build
That's
up
good.
the
That's
channel.
good. Yeah, that's a good way to start off the channel, and I hope that you guys only pull in either directors and people that you feel completely okay working with, and that way the channel will continue to be prosperous and kind of grow in the right way. And I do hope you guys do that. And I probably will be taking up your offer on joining in on some of those collaborations in the future. But I do like it. I think it's a good idea to get away from PSUK. I do think that. But let's move on to maybe a different subject. We've been covering Project Synergy UK for a little bit too long here.
Does anybody have anything else to add before we move on?
Other than that is just check out the videos that you've got coming your way. As this will be out on Sunday, you'll have another Civ 5 video come out.
This
so
is being recorded Sunday morning.
it is,
Yes, of
isn't it?
course.
Of course.
We're
Anyway,
talking to you in the future from the past.
yes.
From the future, from the past, from the north of the south,
Yes.
west of the
Yes.
east,
From England to America,
downwind of the ocean.
and then to Serbia, and then Denmark as well, because Jappa and Alvin live there, or Jappa in Serbia.
All right,
Alvin
let's
in
move on. Colin,
Yeah.
take us in a new direction.
So the way we've decided to split this podcast up is we're going to be doing seasons of what I'd say would be about 6 or 8 episodes, and the reason for that is we're going to hopefully have multiple guests on each season. Although I had previously planned to bring some people back, but what I wanted to do to kind of spice things up a bit is do a bit of a game with each guest we have, and then on the season finale, me and Deano will do the same game. And we'll see how we all rank with each other at the end of the season and who's the best. And I don't know, we'll have a spotlight video on them or something, do something nice. And the game's going to be basically, it's taken directly from the Red Men TV. They do it with their comments, and it's fantastic. It's hilarious. You guys should check that out. So
am I officially the first person to enter into this?
yes, you are.
Great. So I'm essentially like the test subject here. Like I'm the
You-
person
you
that,
are the mouse in
like,
the cage.
when your family cooks that horrible meal and you're the first one to taste it, I'm that child essentially. Is what's going on here.
I
You are
think
that
every guest
child.
in the first season is going to be the test subject. Honestly, I don't know how it's going to go. So,
All right, let's make it happen.
So the rules are: you got 60 seconds to answer some ridiculous questions. YouTube cliche. It's wouldyourrather.com. We're gonna try and censor it slightly, but every guest has 3 vetoes. But hopefully we'll run into some ridiculous ones that they can't answer, so that they get stuck up for a bit, and see how many you can answer in that time.
So who's asking the questions here?
I'll be asking the questions and using the timer thing.
All right, and then I'll be answering them. Fantastic.
You'll be answering, and we might do Tanner as well because he might not be on.
I'll ask
This
Tanner his
is
questions.
this is putting your guest on the spot to the maximum level here.
Yeah, we don't warn
Yeah.
anyone about this unless they've seen the podcast. Okay, so are you ready?
Ready as I'll ever be.
Alright, starting now. Would you rather be beat up by a girl and made fun of, or be beat up by a girl, get beat up? Beat up a girl, okay, sorry. Would you rather beat up a girl and get fun of, or get beat up by a girl and made fun of?
I'd rather get beat up a girl. That's morally not much I could do with that.
All right. Would you rather have the Hulkster rip up all your t-shirts or rip out the Hulkster's hair?
I think it'd be honorable to have Hulk come into my house and rip up all my T-shirts, regardless of the cost of damage. I mean, even if I just recorded that, it'd be amazing. Next question. I'd feel honored.
Okay.
Wait, is he ripping him? Is he ripping him off of my body or his? Like that's important.
I don't know.
Alright,
Only eat cat food for 5 years or be shot in the knee with a gun.
I think I've had cat food before, so I'm gonna try to balance this out. But I've never been shot before.
It's done.
So-
You didn't answer the question.
Go, continue. Just
No,
go.
that's it. The time's up. You didn't answer the question.
Let's just keep going. Keep shooting here. Keep shooting.
The game's over, man. You ran out of time.
I know, Colum. I know, but we only did like 3 questions, and we're having
We did.
fun.
All right.
Just
okay.
consider that my
Your-
submission.
Your score is 2. That's probably gonna be beaten. We should write these down. We should
2 to
write these
beat.
down. It's easier. All right then. Okay, we'll continue for a bit, shall we?
Let's go.
Okay. Be a boy wearing a dress or wearing a bra.
I'm shooting this one towards Tanner and his homosexual tendencies. Go, Tanner.
Sorry, my girlfriend just bought me McDonald's, so I can't answer that
Oh,
question.
what a cop out! What a
Damn it,
cop out!
Tanner's girlfriend.
You should ask her if she'd rather be a boy wearing a dress or a boy wearing a bra.
Would you rather be a boy wearing a dress or a boy wearing a bra?
As we wait in
She
silence.
says dress.
What about
Tanner's
you, Tanner?
girlfriend, everyone.
Well, wait.
I would
well,
rather
you could-
personally.
You heard about her during the Civ 5 videos, but you haven't heard from her yet.
She was there when doing Dungeon Defenders, I think.
She's always here, guys. She's always here.
She's just trolling around.
Do you get to wear a shirt over the bra?
I assume
Yeah,
so. I think it's your life. You always have to wear a dress. Or
And I thought you
what I
would
said,
want
because-
points, not wasting time. Or we're not doing that anymore.
All right,
Oh,
We're not doing the timing thing yet. That's not Tanner's game yet.
next question.
I think I'd rather wear the bra.
Because it's more concealable. I mean,
I
you
can-
can
yeah, I
walk
can see
around with
that.
a bra, and people would just be like, "Oh, that's odd," or you could walk around the dress and be like, "Oh, he's clearly a cross-dresser." But next question.
The next question.
So-
Right, this is not one of the ones I consider too bad. All right. Be
Great.
castrated by sterile bricks or with a rusty tetanus-infected chainsaw.
Neither one of these is anything that I would ever consider doing.
Jesus
So
Christ.
you've got to make a choice.
So it's either a brick or what was the second one?
A rusty tetanus-infested chainsaw. But
I
it's
think a
not
brick.
sterile.
I
But
think
it's
a
not
brick,
sterile.
because even though a brick would kind of be crushing, I think the this is the worst question ever.
Yeah, but Tipper, is that
The
what happened to the
the
person
tetanus
in
is
your
not
picture?
something. The tetanus is not something that I would want to have. So, I mean, the whole scenario here is kind of not something I'd want
This
to have.
one's even worse, but it still doesn't cross my threshold yet. Your dad collects farts in a balloons and put them around the house, or your mum has a sexual fetish for chimpanzees.
I think the chimpanzees ones because are there gonna be like chimpanzees around the house or?
And she's probably going to be screwing them, yes.
Wow.
I'd
Yeah,
rather
but
have
wouldn't it be the other way
balloon farts.
round?
So, considering this hasn't crossed your threshold yet, I'm not too curious on what your threshold is.
It's sexual questions involving you to an extreme. I still don't mind it.
To an extreme. Well, it's not about you, so technically I'm fine, man. You can just continue to ask.
Actually, sexual questions involving
the
you
balloon-
and somebody in real life that you know.
I think the balloon one, as long as there were never any sharp utensils in the household.
Oh, this is an interesting one, and it's for Deano. Would you rather lose a match having no possession or lose a match having all the possession?
Lose a match having no possession.
Yeah.
That way you can't get a point or a finger pointed at you.
What?
Well, we were sitting in the stands.
Alright.
Like, I called the lads off the pitch. We just went and sat in the stands for the whole game.
I'm so confused right now. Do you mean like you wouldn't have the ball at all, or you would have the ball the whole time? Like,
You wouldn't
what-
have the ball at all.
Okay, yeah,
That's
that way
what you
that
would.
way you couldn't be blamed for the loss, is what
Exactly,
I said. That way
we
you
just
could-
sat
Well,
in
you
the
could,
stands.
because in football, if you don't have possession, you're still blamed for not getting possession.
Well, but what would be worse? Would it be considered having?
Oh, worse
No-
is definitely
no
no
possessions.
possession. Worse is definitely having all the possession, yeah.
Now, if you had all the
It'd be
possession,
like
what would
Arsenal.
you be doing? Would you just be like doing keepy uppies all the time?
No, but I mean, think about the West Ham game on the weekend. Like, we had all the possession and we screwed it all up. Like, just having loads of chances and the goalkeeper's on form, or having loads of chances and he just can't score.
Gotcha. I get what you're saying now. I thought you meant one individual player.
Ah, right.
You're meaning
okay.
the whole team. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Next question.
Yeah, the whole team.
Can't believe one slipped into a site like this. Uh-oh, there's pictures. And they haven't loaded.
Oh god.
Oh, we're skipping. Okay. Okay. Oh, this is fun. Wipe your bum with acidic toilet paper or brush your teeth with liquid nitrogen.
I don't think this goes well for anybody, regardless.
Washing the teeth with liquid nitrogen must be pretty awesome.
Well, okay, so the question here is really what does more damage?
Yeah, and I think it's probably the acidic toilet paper.
What do you weigh in on this, Tanner?
I would probably have my teeth frozen.
That includes
Right.
your tongue and all of your inner tissue and
That's a good point.
the top of your, like the roof of your mouth and in the back of your throat and your tongue. Like that's not just your teeth, man.
I think.
But then
I think
someone could
that's-
hit it with a hammer and it would just all fall off.
I
Yeah, it
think
would
it's
shatter.
temporary, and the other one definitely is not temporary.
No, I don't think freezing it is temporary. I think that'll destroy tissue.
I think
There's
a
no
lot of
way it'd
damage.
ever come back the same. I wouldn't be able to move my mouth.
That's what I'm saying. So technically, I think the.
See, he doesn't need to use his mouth. He's on the other end.
All right,
Moving
time to
on.
Time to get off of the would you rather questions here.
No, because now we
Buddy-
gotta do. Now we gotta do Tanner's side. Now we gotta do his score.
his score.
Yeah.
Wait, what were we doing for him?
We were just asking questions. You said continue.
Oh, okay. Are
Okay.
we doing his 60 seconds then?
Yeah. Now we're doing his 60 seconds.
Okay.
I didn't
okay.
see. I didn't know that I was shooting for a mass amount of questions answered. I thought I was shooting for the most entertaining.
Oh,
See that?
Depth.
See, you
See-
were doing both. You see, no one. just
Can I ask
gets you-
Tanner
Right,
the first
right.
question?
But you had me at. Okay, yeah. Go ahead.
Tanner, what would you rather? What would you? How could you phrase?
Actually,
this
stop a
question?
sec. I'll do the 60 seconds. You can just ask him the questions.
I'll
Get a
ask
few
him a
planned.
question off the top of my head.
Okay.
Okay, sweet.
Get a few planned though, because you can't stop. Otherwise, that's.
Okay,
cheating
hold
at
on.
me.
I'll get like a web page up.
All right.
Okay, while we're waiting, why don't we just go quickly through the new releases?
Which
That was
rather
our next.
questions? Well, I've already got it now.
Okay, well, we'll just quickly go through the new releases before we go to Tanner's section. How about
That'd
that?
be pretty dumb.
We're doing it anyway.
Oh wow, this is a good one.
Okay.
Would
Right.
you rather wake up naked and saw?
Wait.
What? We're not doing it.
Yeah, but I haven't started the stopwatch yet.
Okay, you start the stopwatch.
You want to do it now? Okay.
Okay,
Alright.
ready.
Starting now.
Would you rather wake up naked and sore and without any memory of the night before, next to the Burger King, telling you had it, you had it your way, or wake up naked next to Ronald McDonald telling you that you were loving it?
I think I like Burger King better.
You would have to take Burger King in his scruffy beard, though.
Tipper, quickly,
Next
we need to
question.
move on.
Tipper, if you had a daughter, would you rather her to have no friends or be a slut?
No friends.
Wait, this is Tanner's section.
It
I
is.
You
would've
just said Tippa.
Yeah, that's Callum's fault. Quickly move
Damn
on,
it.
Tanner.
Okay,
Tanner,
next
your
question.
answer. No, Tanner, your answer to that one.
No friends.
Okay.
So you wouldn't want her to be a slut. Okay. Would you rather go back in time and meet your ancestors? Well, I don't really think you would have any. Or go in the future and meet your great grandchildren?
Past.
Going to the past. Who created the world?
Time up.
God or Big Bang?
So here's the problem with this segment. All right. Okay.
Tanner's
I'm
only
just
got
gonna.
three.
I'm just gonna say this, buddy. I'm just gonna say it straight out and just put it out there right now. The problem with this segment is we're supposed to be as entertaining, as funny as possible, but when you're trying to when you're trying to reach for the highest score, you
Yeah.
could easily just say a one-worded answer, but that isn't really entertaining, which is why
Well,
I was trying to give entertaining.
That's why
answers.
we've got 10 minutes basically
So-
where we answer questions out of the competition.
Yeah, I know, but I don't know. It's hard to
Eh.
say.
We'll see how they react to like a mixture of entertainment and
Yeah,
the competition.
You get what I'm saying? Like Tanner, you know what I mean? It's kind of hard to answer them entertaining while knowing you only have like 5 seconds for each question.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
a pretty competitive dude.
If you guys want to ask questions to the question answer afterwards and ask them why they said something, go ahead. We still have some time on the segment,
Except then you'll probably get into like a heated debate with someone.
which is perfectly fine. That's what the show is about.
It'll be like, Tanner, you're such an arsehole. If you had a daughter, you'd rather have no friends, you
It's
Assholes.
it's not about like it's not about being nice to each other. I mean, you were completely destroying Tanner 2 weeks ago with the Warzy Daisy thing.
Yeah, but it's shit. What's this shit? Don't buy it.
You don't even know. You don't own it.
Tanner,
Yeah,
I can
but-
see the comment section right now. How could you say that about Mr. Burger King? How dare you?
Wait, Tanner
How
likes
dare
Burger
you.
King though.
As
Yeah, but
I'm
that-
eating McDonald's.
I am offended on a level that I've never been offended before.
See, that's the thing about that question though. I don't like Burger King, but in that question, I think I would prefer the Burger King.
I've walked into KFC before with McDonald's and they told me to get out.
See, I can't stand clowns, so
See, that's not
Scared
too
of
bad.
clowns.
I don't prefer them. They're not my favorite profession in the world.
See,
I love
that-
clowns.
What you just said, Dino, that wasn't too bad. I went to see Liverpool versus Manchester City, and the guy I went to see came with a Manchester United top,
Wow.
and we were sitting in the cop.
Wow, that's even worse.
It wasn't too bad actually. He didn't get much abuse. I'm
So-
surprised.
What are the new releases that you guys would like to cover?
Well, I'm
Any-
looking at this. Don't Starve comes out officially a couple of days ago, I think.
So right now, is it in a beta? Because I own it, but I've never really
I think
paid
so.
attention.
I think
so
it
it's
was
in a
in
beta.
pre-release. It was in pre-release. I think.
Yeah, I have a Let's Play that I started, but I've never really noticed. I know that they do updates like constantly, like they do updates about every 2 weeks. But I'm actually kind of excited for that now. Since you told me about that, I'm excited for the
Wasn't Don't
Yeah,
final.
they do updates.
Wasn't Don't Starve
What's up?
developed by the same people who made Bastion?
I'm not familiar with that game, so I couldn't really say.
I think it was, and if it was, if I'm right, then I remember them talking about this in pre-release when they were when they were producing their trailer for their new game, which is called Transistor.
So does anyone here have Don't Starve?
I do. Well, I was gifted it by someone.
What do you think of it?
I haven't played it that much. It's good. It's a good game, but when I played it back then, there wasn't that much to do.
Yeah, that was the problem with it. But they're adding on to it, but hopefully
Yeah.
they add on to it and they don't lose the starving aspect of it. Because most games when they try to get bigger and more popular, they kind of lose their roots and origins.
Didn't somebody in like Korea die playing that game because he literally in real life didn't eat any food?
There was a guy.
He was
in-
playing like, was it Diablo 3 last year when it came out? And he
Yes,
sat on
yes,
the
yeah,
computer.
yeah. I'm really familiar with the story. There was a guy in a what do they call it? An internet cafe, right, where you can go. And
Yeah.
in Korea, in internet cafes, everybody has their own booths. Like you go into your own booths with a closed door, and the guy was in there for he was in there for
3 days.
12 hours. No, he was in there for 12 hours. Then I guess he fell asleep. And then it may have been longer. It was probably more towards like 36 or something like that. But he was in there for like 36 hours. He fell asleep, right? And then the one guy that owned the internet cafe went in to try to wake him up. And he woke the kid up. And when the kid stood up, of course, like if you're sitting in one position, your body gets used to pumping blood at a certain rate to all different positions. So when the kid stood up, because he had been in that position for so long, the blood didn't essentially reach his brain in time, and he had an aneurysm and just died. So that's what happens when you.
Which game is it? Did you say Diablo 3?
Diablo
Yeah,
3.
I'm pretty sure it was on the release of Diablo 3. But that was the whole story.
And then people
messed up.
were saying, "Oh, gaming does all this." to
Yeah.
kids." It's like, it's his fault, not the
Well,
game.
it was. I mean, they found him with a ridiculous amount of energy drinks and things like that. So it wasn't really helpful, seeing as though he was completely hyped up on caffeine and what's the other thing, ginseng or whatever else is completely in those energy drinks. It's not great for your body, regardless. But when you drink as many as he did in that time frame to stay awake, it's not going to be healthy for your heart at all. So what else is coming out besides Don't Starve?
Well, on Tuesday, there is a DLC for Dishonored coming out called The Knife of Dunwall, which has been hyped up to the maximum.
So I kind of heard bad things about Dishonored. Things
Dishonored?
like
Really?
Yeah, I mean,
it's been like globally acclaimed. Seriously.
It
like,
is a good game.
I know, but everybody that I ever talked to about Dishonored said if you ever want to play it, rent it because it has no replayability whatsoever, and the campaign only takes you
I
a
can
half
see
a day
that.
to get through.
Yeah, I can see that. It's short, but
Okay.
it's reasonably short, but at the same time, it's got a lot of depth to it, so you
But
can
yeah,
take your time. with it.
All the complaints that I heard about it were essentially saying it's not really worth $60 for what you're getting. So I never really picked up the game, so I'm not familiar with it. But what are they releasing? Just a standard DLC, like a mission pack thing?
It's new powers, weapons, gadgets, and I'm pretty sure there are missions and stories and stuff like that to it.
So they're essentially just trying to revive the game, get more players on it, and make more money, of course.
Well, adding more content. I think it is like a reasonable kind of thing that you get used to seeing from the games like Deus Ex and Red Dead Redemption and Fallout, that kind of style of DLC.
All games like that essentially have to continue to release DLC. For example, if Skyrim didn't release its DLC, I'm not going to say no people would still be playing Skyrim, but there would be a less number than there are. Like when you see a DLC is coming out for a game, don't you kind of get back into that game again? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's kind of a standardized things for game companies nowadays to kind of release content midway through the game's lifespan. That way, it stays alive and played.
I prefer DLC like that, mind you, but I didn't like Skyrim's DLC, but I prefer DLC like that to a map pack, which is completely worthless.
I can't stand DLCs that you have to pay for. Like, if I bought the game, then shouldn't you just give me all the content that will ever be available for this game? Like, you know what I'm saying?
Not ever. Like, I can see you saying, I bought this game, so I should have every piece of content that was developed before the game came out.
Here, let me make this complaint to you, because now I'm mad. So Battlefield 2, Bad Company, right?
Yeah.
That game was released with the Vietnam pack on the disc.
Yeah, that's
on the disc.
That's not the DLC I'm talking about, though.
No. I know. I'm talking about DLCs in general right now. That was released with Vietnam pack on the disc.
You're talking about you're talking about DLC that's on the disc. You're not talking about DLC in general.
But technically, it was still considered a DLC.
Yeah, it's considered DLC, but you're not talking about DLCs in general. You're talking about on-disc DLC.
No, I'm just categorizing.
Let him roll with his example.
Okay.
Let me go on about this. So, what I can't stand is I bought that disc, right? And there's a section of data on that disc that I cannot get or receive unless I pay your company to give it to me.
Yeah.
That kind of annoys me. Now, that's regardless of whether it's on the disc or not on the disc. I mean, I think I should get every map ever released for Call of Duty because I paid your initial $60. Regardless of whether I have your season pass or whatever, they just want to make more money. That's the problem with game companies and things like that.
The thing with DLC that's developed after the game comes out is, of course, they want to make more money. They're spending more money to make that DLC. They're developing new content.
Trust me, they're not spending nearly as much money in the budget of making these than they are what they're receiving.
No, of course they're not. That's how business works.
The funny thing is they release all this DLC, yet they still go into debt. That's what I find pretty funny.
Yeah, I can understand DLC on the disc. I hate that as well. I have as much passion against that as you do. If I buy a game on day one, I should have every piece of content that's been developed before then. But But if you're making DLC after the game, I don't have any. If you're making new DLC after the game has come out, because you want to add more content to the game, then I'm completely happy with paying with that.
Yeah, but not like for Call of Duty where it's like 4 maps and then a zombie
like
map.
that.
That's stupid.
And
Like
most
if
of
it
those
was like
maps are on the disc anyway.
But that's what I'm saying is most DLC is most likely probably already on the disc.
Not most of it, though.
I don't want to say all of it, but probably more than what you're thinking is on the disc, and they just tweak it.
the things that there are
saying?
hidden on some of the Call of Duty things, there actually have been found in the code hidden maps.
Yeah.
No, that's what I mean. Like things like that. I'm sure that there's more than just Battlefield Bad Company 2. Like there's probably a lot more than you actually are aware of. But I don't know. I'm not a fan of downloadable content. I'm really not. I never really have been. I don't agree when I buy a game and I officially have purchased this game that now I have to pay more just to play the game.
Well, no,
especially in a game.
You don't have to pay more just to play the game. You can play the game without the DLC.
Well, I was about to say this, right?
Yeah, okay.
Especially a game geared like Call of Duty 5 was. Now,
Yeah.
I'm aware that this was in the past, right? And I know that they messed up on this.
I know where
and
you're
they
going.
have,
Yeah, I know.
and they have fixed it. But if you did not purchase and own the online multiplayer map packs for Call of Duty 5, almost 80% of the lobbies you could not play in.
Yeah.
You would get kicked immediately. Now
That's a
that is what I mean by that is a problem. Right? That's a different tangent. But I don't know. Tanner, where do you take sides on this? Do you think when you purchase a game you should have everything about that game even after they release it? Or do you think
I
like
look at it mostly as like I'm almost like buying a new game, which might sound dumb. The only time it really makes me mad is like you buy a game, a month later DLC comes out for it and it's half as much as you paid last month for the game. So like they were
right?
just sitting there waiting like, "Oh, we'll have our initial stream of money and then we'll wait a month and we'll throw out this new land area that you can go into now and it'll be
Yeah,
$30 instead of 60."
they'll reap the benefits off of it because that's what they'll do. They'll take advantage of things like that, Tanner.
But to be
Um,
honest, I couldn't tell you the last time I bought DLC for any game that I own. I think the only game I've ever bought DLC for was Civ 5, and that was because it was like
but
25 cents for the new Civs.
would you agree with me saying that if it was up to the consumer's choice, all of us in here are the consumers, right? In this situation, let's take a vote. Should DLC be free? I say yay.
DLC after the game's been released now.
After the game's been released, I say yay, it should be free.
Because if it was free, companies would just shut down when the games come out and never develop DLC. That's just what would happen.
They could just not develop
they're not-
DLC in the first
yeah.
place.
Well, they're not gonna make DLC.
I get what
Yeah,
you're saying.
if they're not getting
I
money.
get what you're saying. The company's motivation wouldn't be all there, but when you do find that good company that'll upkeep it, it's definitely a lot better. But look,
If it's a single player game, they would never be DLC.
I mean, games like Fallout and whatnot have DLC.
Because they
But
get
because,
paid
like
for
you
it.
said, no,
Yeah.
no, I get what you're saying. The motivation to do it is not there.
But why would they
However-
ever actually develop DLC for a single player game when people have bought the game and they will never pay them ever again? They're not making any money at that point at all.
I get what you're saying. The motivation's not there, but most game companies would keep people interested in the series because if you
Why?
don't keep for retention, for gaming
They
retention,
would just make a new game after 6 months, which will be as
Right.
badly produced
But-
as a DLC.
But if you release a game every year, right?
Yeah.
If you release a game every year, okay,
Which most
and-
companies
and-
don't.
Okay, but
Go
let's
on.
just say they do. In this situation, you get a new. We'll just call it Fallout. It's a primary single player game. Okay, you get a new Fallout every single year. There's a period after about 6 to 8 months where people stop playing the game. Right? People
Yeah.
have done whatever quests they want. Let me finish. People have done what quests they want. Okay, and now they're kind of disinterested in Fallout. And what that game company can do if they're smart is they release a free DLC that is completely is as immersive as a paid DLC is, right? And that gets people back into the Fallout franchise for the new release. It keeps up video gaming retention. It keeps up people that are active in the series. You get my counter argument, buddy?
I can see that. I definitely can see that.
But do you know what I mean? I mean, like,
Oh, yeah,
I completely understand what you're saying about the motivation thing, but there would be game companies that still do release DLC because they want people to still be playing to keep everybody active in the franchise. So I do want to still hold the vote. I say DLCs should mostly, for the most part, right?
Can I make a point, Exec?
Go
What
for
about
it. Go for it.
games? What about original IPs that aren't planning sequels?
What do you mean?
Like,
Elaborate
what about if an original LP comes out? That's IP, sorry, not LP. Original IP comes out like Dishonored. No
Okay.
sequels planned. They're gonna go back to their normal series. Why would they release DLC for that in that situation?
I get what you're saying.
I can see your point, by the way. That's a completely valid point. I didn't think of it that way.
I'm gonna ponder on this because if they don't plan to make a sequel to Dishonored,
Which
and
they
just,
might do. I think they actually do.
No,
but
no,
just in that situation, yeah.
I know. I understand what you're saying. If they didn't plan on making something to Dishonored, they could do kind of like what Steam did with Half-Life, where they released Half-Life episodes. Do you know what I'm saying? Or for
Yeah.
example, my other counter argument would be what Grand Theft Auto 4 did. Grand Theft Auto 4 released kind of two standalone games, but they weren't considered standalone games. They released The Ballad of Gay Tony and The Lost and the Damned, which could literally be standalone games. However, they were just kind of add-ons. So maybe my counter argument to that, because it's what I can think of on the spot, would be they could add on to the game with episodes and things like that. Things that are kind of standalone games but still DLC. And of course I would be okay with them selling that because it would be a completely different thing. That's my counter argument to that.
Yeah. Could I also discuss the point of some DLCs, there is so much work put into them that they are basically the work and the production of a completely different game after the game's
Okay.
been released. some of those
Right.
DLCs, like if you've seen how much work is put into them, if it's a massive DLC, you're happy paying for that, even if it
Yes,
does
I
go
would agree.
on. So it,
You know what? I'll take your side on this one, Putty. I will agree if I'm playing Skyrim and it's not just, as Tanner said, if it's not just a new area unlocked
yeah,
and it's just an entire new quest line and all this new stuff and all these weapons and all this and that, I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with is getting 4 maps, a gun, and a zombies map.
which is what I said at the start of this conversation. I'm actually not okay with that either. I don't think it's worth it.
No, but I do think it was a fun conversation. I do agree.
Yeah,
So
it's fun. I can see that. I can see your
I do-
side, but I like DLC personally.
well,
Which
he-
have
he-
you guys
interesting.
seen the new Dead Island that's supposed to come out in like a week
Yeah.
or two? That is
I seen-
basically like so many people have argued that it's basically just if they would have released DLC for Dead Island,
All right.
but
Here's my problem with that. If spoiler alert for anyone who has played Dead Island, the zombie outbreak was supposed to only be on that island. So
and then
how
they
it's
found another island.
so how it spread to the next island is kind of dumb, right? Unless they somehow brought it with them, which I highly doubt they did because game companies aren't smart at all. But I don't like it. I can honestly say I don't like it. It goes against the entire Dead Island storyline and just kind of ruins it all. And if you noticed, they're only charging, I think, $40 or $30 or $40 for it. Like, they're not even considering it a full game because they know they need to market it a lot lower in order to get a higher yield out of it. Because I don't want to say the first one was a failure, but the first one wasn't a Left 4 Dead. You know what I mean?
I didn't enjoy the game
The
personally.
first one was
Yeah, I
pretty
thought
bad.
it underperformed for what they promised, I think.
I do agree with you there, but I think it was fun in the gun role-playing aspect.
I didn't get to the guns, so I can't really tell you.
Well,
I was more mad that when I bought it, it wasn't like single
Instant.
player. Like you
Oh.
had to connect Xbox Live wise to have multiplayer. Like I just wanted to have a split screen,
screen.
2 people play together. Like that's all I wanted.
Okay.
That's
I get
actually a
what you're
fun
saying.
idea.
I get what you're saying. But I was happy that they did have a 4-player co-op because I honestly don't like games that aren't co-op. Like, I know I hate saying I do really hate saying that, but a game like Skyrim and Fallout I can only play for so long before I just keep thinking, you know what, if this game was multiplayer I'd have so much more fun with it. Because almost every game that I play, I like having that friend aspect to it. Whether you're just role playing, pretending that you are the Knight of Shyamalan fighting against orcs or whatever you want to do in Skyrim, it would be a lot more fun with a friend. So I do like that they did have the co-op, but I get what you're saying with the split screen.
Which I think didn't they just come out with an Elder Scrolls MMO sort of thing?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they were pre-releasing that at the recent thing.
The Elder Scrolls MMO is as it's stated an MMO. It's not what I've always wanted. It's not. It's
I mean,
not
yeah,
what
you
I've
want
always
you want like an
first-person combat,
open
though.
open world Skyrim style game, but you want to
I-
have someone
see-
there with you.
Yeah, I don't even care if there's more than 2 people. Like, just let me have my friend, you know? And I hate their excuse that they always use, that Bethesda always uses, that it would compromise storyline and it would mess up things like that.
Sometimes it does, though. Sometimes
Well,
it
okay,
does.
in certain situations, yeah, but in order to sync up 2 people's storylines and
Unless they
missions,
develop the game
Like,
around
say-
it, that'd be a
Like say
problem.
Fallout, for example, you
Yeah, you
are the
can't.
lone wanderer.
Yeah, you can't stick another person in either of the Bethesda Fallout games and expect that to work.
no, okay, yeah, but in Skyrim, right? Or
Skyrim probably, yeah.
I'll compare it to Saints Row 3. You guys are doing the same mission. So what does it matter if somebody's with you? If you're doing the exact same quest or mission, why does it matter? You just gear it towards 2 to 4 people.
Yeah,
Like I can't stand that excuse that they use that it would compromise the entire series. Well, most people and I think they'd get a lot more sales if they did actually make the game multiplayer, because the only reason that I got into the Elder Scrolls, and when I did get into it, I'm a newbie. I will honestly say I'm very new to Skyrim, or very new to the Elder Scrolls series in general. But when I did get into Skyrim, the only reason that I ever purchased the game was because I had literally 5 friends telling me it was amazing. You know? And I think a lot more people would buy the game if they knew that they could play with those 5 friends, or, of course, less than 5. But you get what I'm saying, right?
I can totally see that. The problem with that is you can't develop a game from ground up single player and stick another person in there. You've got to develop it ground up co-op, don't you?
I
That's
agree,
the-
but
that's-
they
They should do
need-
that, but that's what they need to do.
okay. They need to make a ground up multiplayer Skyrim. But
I think they could do that for certain games, but I still do think for
I
games they
think
should
Fall- I-
have a dedicated single player.
I think games like Fallout do need a dedicated single player because that's
Yeah.
the whole aspect to it. But a game like Skyrim, where there is kind of that lone wolf feel
It's
to
not
it,
so deep. It isn't
Yeah, exactly.
too deep.
it's not what the game's all about. You know what
Yeah.
I'm saying?
Like, what that game's all about is the big world and how good it looks, and if you can
I mean,
experience that with a friend, then it's
I
amazing.
wouldn't even care if they made Skyrim 2, and this would make sense. Call him Putty, whatever you want me to call you, Tanner, you two.
Putty, I prefer
You guys will all agree with me here. I don't even care if they made Skyrim 2 players, only one person.
Could you shout?
This is genius. This is genius. Only one person was the Dragonborn, and the other person was the House Carl, whatever you call it.
Yeah.
That way, the quest line is working, right? But there's only one main person, and the second person's a tag along. That's ingenious in my opinion. That's smart. That's the best thing I've ever
Like
thought.
so like what you're saying is like you've got the main character, then you've got the friend as the companion.
Exactly.
That.
Exactly.
Yeah,
In my
that
Skyrim Let's Play, I was not the Dragonborn at all. I skipped all of those quests, and it worked just as fine. Like, it seriously did. I didn't have any shouts, and it worked just as fine.
Have you ever done the wilderness thing? Because my friend got me into this, where he likes to play as a hermit, where he never goes into towns or anything of that nature. Like, he only does things on his own. Like, the only town that he ever goes into is like the farm, Rorikstead. Like, he only goes into the farm to trade, and that's it. Like, he lives out. He's never been to Whiterun or Falkreath or any main towns like that. Have you guys ever done anything like that?
I did something like that.
I've never done that.
I went to.
I try, but I get too bored. I think
That's my problem.
What's the
I played
wintry
for
town? What's the wintry town with the Mages Guild?
Something hold.
Let me open up my Skyrim encyclopedia I have sitting right next to me.
Winterhold.
Winter,
That's
yeah, that's
the
it.
only city I ever went to in my Let's Play because I skipped the Dragonborn quest and I just did like mounting quests and things like that, and that whole Mages
But
Guild
that's
quest.
honestly an ingenious idea, and it's giving the middle finger to Bethesda right now.
What,
I'm
doing
giving
the companion thing.
doing
Yeah,
the
it's
companion thing.
a
Yeah,
good
that's
idea.
a great idea. That's what they should do. I want to start a million name petitions for them to agree with me, for the fans of Elder Scrolls to agree with me, and
If
this
you
may
get
be
10,000 signatures on an e-petition, the British government will debate it for you. That's serious.
Wow.
This is the only time in my YouTube career that I've wished that I had 1 million subscribers, because I know if I had 1 million subscribers, I do wish I had 1 million subscribers, but I've never wanted 1 million subscribers more than I do right now, because if I had 1 million subscribers right now, the first thing that I would enact is the Skyrim petition, where we get as many people and as many other big YouTubers as I can get to make this petition happen, so that this idea could honestly work. It completely eliminates the argument by Bethesda by saying it ruins storyline. Well, it wouldn't ruin storyline if they were companions and tag-alongs. I think that's what needs to happen. And that could
I
even
think they
work
should
for,
just release it as DLC.
and that could even
Hey, DLC or
work-
just standard DLC?
That'd be a good idea, actually.
They're
that could
probably
even work
listening in. They're like, he did just give us a great idea.
It wouldn't work out as well, but it would work for a game like Fallout 2, because in Fallout, can't you get? I'm not familiar with Fallout extremely, but can't you get?
The thing that
Can't
I
you
had
get
the problem.
companions?
You can, but the thing I had the problem with you saying
All the
Fallout should be
Fallouts you can get companions in.
yeah, is because in that game you're supposed to be influencing.
Yeah, but I guess you could do the
Politics.
same thing as Tipper said, the whole companion thing.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
can do
because
that as well.
I just thought about it, because there are companions in Fallout, so
in
it could
that
work
game-
there too.
In Skyrim, I could see people going off and doing like the Mages Guild quest on their own without their companion. The thing with Fallout is, if you wanted to do anything, it would have an influence on everything. So two people shouldn't be trying to do two different things. There'd be a problem there.
No. The thing with the companions is how the companion system has always worked in Bethesda games is they always stick by your side and they work with you. So the whole ruling system with it would be that maybe your companion couldn't leave more than 200 meters around you.
Yeah.
You get what I mean?
Could they not do quests then though? Because that's the problem. Is them doing quests.
Well, no, they do your quests. They
Yeah.
do the main person's quests. Is
They
what I
wouldn't have
I'm
any choices then, and that's the biggest thing about Fallout is the choices.
I wouldn't care.
Yeah, but
because
you're not into Fallout. You don't enjoy Fallout.
No, because it would be a debating thing between you and your companion about choices. Like, I'm not talking like, for example, if I was playing with Tanner on Fallout right now and Tanner was like, "All right, companion, come on, let's go. We got to do this quest. And I'd be like, well, maybe we should should consider. No, we got to do this now. It wouldn't be like that. You'd have two friends playing with each other, debating what they should do. I don't know. I see your point about it, but
I could see it ruining the atmosphere as well. Like,
Except the wasteland is a dangerous place, and
Yeah.
you don't want to get shot by like a super mutant when you have a 10mm pistol.
I'm just saying, me and Tanner, we're going to go buddy, quick scope. Just saying.
Yep.
360 to the face. No scope, ladder stall. YY. Throwing knife.
Except your
Throwing
spread
knife.
is really bad in Fallout with a
Throwing-
sniper rifle. So
Throwing knife, tack knife.
No.
Tactical insertion.
If you use a throwing knife, you can't use your sniper because you've got a throwing knife out.
What other
There
new
are throwing
releases
knives
do
in
we
Fallout?
have?
We have. All right, thank you. Back to this. 45
The
minutes.
voice of reason chimes
We just
in.
went for 45 minutes on
We-
DLC.
We
That was
take
pretty
10
good.
minutes. We take 10 minutes to do new releases. You're staying on this podcast forever. Okay, what just came out on April the 5th, which was a couple of I don't know how
Couple
many days
weeks
ago.
ago now.
Yeah, it was like a week ago. So, Lords of Football. I know nothing about this game. I've not seen anyone play it. I wonder, does anybody here have that?
Putty
Yeah.
doesn't know the game, and I don't know the genre. Therefore, I am muting my mic and stepping out of this conversation.
Well, actually,
because
it
I
kind
do,
of is.
yeah, that's probably a good idea, Tip Canoe, but I do
I-
know the game. I was kidding.
I
to
have
put
no
this-
idea.
To put this briefly,
You've had 45 minutes of DLC, it's fine. Go on, Deano.
to put Lords of Football briefly, it's a football manager / Sims hybrid type of game where you take on the role of a club owner and you tell your players what to do, like in training, like passing, etc., whatever. Like go watch my indie
Has-
spotlight. That's what it's
I
there
was
for.
about to say that. You should
Go
go watch
watch-
Dino's Indie Spotlight on it.
Done. That's Lords of Football.
It's very good, but I think it's a little overpriced right now for what it offers, which is why you should go on Green Man Gaming and put in.
And Tanner is an
25%.
absolutely terrible player where he missed an open goal.
I scored in an open goal too. Thank you very little.
Yeah, I told you to. I
So
told
it's
you
a
to shoot.
is this a game geared towards people that can simulate a team and have no control over their players, or is this a
They
game
have a
where
lot of control over their players in this game.
No,
it's
no,
a
no.
bit like
But I mean,
Football Manager, but a lot more that you can control.
So-
but that's what I'm
so-
going to say on it.
but I mean, do you control can you run up the field with your player and shoot?
No, it's not like
Or is-
FIFA.
or
You
do
can
you-
tell them to run up the field,
Okay,
but
okay,
they will just
okay.
be like,
That was what I
If
was
you've
wondering.
got a
So it's
Mario
more-
Balotelli figure like Tanner and you tell him to run up the field, you kick the floor and
Got
just run off the pitch.
So you guys have played together in a one big team, I'm guessing.
He's got
Well,
our
I've-
names,
I've
but we're not actually
set
controlling the
up.
players.
Yeah. I've set
Okay.
it up.
Gotcha. So are you guys excited for this new release? Just not you're excited for the new release, just not excited for the price range of it.
Yeah.
I didn't
If
even know it existed, but it looks really good to me.
I was glad Alvin gave me the 25% off code thing
Which I
today.
think anyone can use. So if you get that, put it in the description of this video.
Just go watch my indie spotlight. What other games we had that have been released this week?
Poker Night 2.
We would
Five
probably need we would need
5
Alvin to
stars.
talk about that.
5 stars, 2 thumbs up for Poker
And
Night.
On the 25th of April 2013, we've got Red Dead, Dead Island, Riptide, which the most exciting thing about that game, as we just discussed, is the pre-order bonus.
And new boats, yeah. Or new vehicles, boats, yeah.
And if you pre-order, I think it's still going, you can get a decapitated plastic female torso.
Wonderful.
Because everybody knows you collect those. So I don't know. On the topic of the new Dead Island, I'm not excited for it at all. It's honestly gonna be one of those games like Sniper Ghost Warrior 2 where I seen it and I was like, should I buy that? And I looked at my wallet and I was like, nah, not feeling it.
Yeah.
You know, it's gonna be one of those games, honestly, and it's probably gonna be one of those games in the community where people know it's out there and people know it exists, but I don't think it's gonna be a popular game until Steam throws it up on a 75% off sale.
That's kind of how Putty feels about Lords of Football too.
Yeah, I just know it's going to be like 10 or 5 pounds in a couple of months.
Is Lords of Football 2 gonna be the War Z to Football Manager?
Probably
No.
not because it's actually decent.
Yeah.
Okay.
War
'Cause
Z
from
is
the out-
decent.
No, it's not.
I'd say Lords of Football is probably going to be the let me try and think.
Wait,
Tanner-
me, Tipper, we like
Hang on.
Daisy more than War Z.
Okay, yeah, I get that. I
I
understand.
just don't like Warzy as a game.
I can feel the tension between Deano and Tanner on the Warzy.
That's why
DC.
whenever we have him on, we
topic.
have to edit out
So-
way more.
So what I'm feeling here, Tanner, and I want to agree with you on something. Do you think War Z would have been a better game if they pushed the release date back and maybe polished it up a little more?
And if they stop bullshitting.
I agree
I
with that
think
100%.
Call
If they
not
would
now.
have, from the beginning, instead of the release date in November, they release it as an open alpha.
So you
That's all
think
they really have
should-
to do with it.
That's a
Or an
good
open
point.
So you-
beta.
But you think they should have just because here's what I think they should have polished it more. I think the game itself has a good base on it, but I think they needed to finish off they needed to finish the pyramid and polish it down with slave labor before they should have just said we have a game to compete. Because I think the only reason that they knew they should have released the game when they did was because DayZ was popular and they knew that they were going to get a fan base off of it, you know?
Oh, well, yeah, and I think they were like, well, we need to release this game before the DayZ standalone comes out, and people buy that instead of this.
Well, they knew they were
And-
going to be overshadowed by a standalone
Exactly.
compared
Which,
to an
if you look
awful-
at their main website page today, which the forums are back up after they got hacked, by the way.
They got hacked.
Good.
See,
Yeah, they got hacked. Just the forums, though. So, and I'm
I've
not on the forums.
I've watched hours and hours of War Z gameplay, but I've never really played it. But from what I can see, it just needs polished. But their website got taken down.
Well, just their forums. Like, you could still go to the website, but like they still have pictures on their homepage on their main site of like people sitting and driving in cars. You can't drive a car. You can't even get into a car.
See, bullshit.
I mean, they
Bullshit
still
everywhere.
advertise it as like a way better game than it is, but like me and Jepik kind of talked about this is I think you play War Z almost as like a Call of Duty like survival game where a lot more people play it for PvP. And then if you
Yeah.
want to play survival, you go play DayZ
Watching
because
paint
there's
dry
not
with
quite as
friends
much.
is fun.
No, because how should I put this? The reason that I stopped playing DayZ, all right, is because it turned into a PvP. It turned into
Yeah.
a deathmatch inferno. And the reason I didn't want to purchase War Z because War Z was geared to shooting each other instead of geared to interacting with each other. So I thought that it would be better to have I don't know. I think it's better. Tanner's having some technical issues, so please excuse him.
They're used to
But
that.
Damn it, Tanner. Every time.
This is Dino's chance to say whatever he wants about War Z.
Was he shit?
Okay, before we
Don't buy
continue,
it.
can I
Full of
just say the
shit.
final release?
Yes.
Okay, this is taking an hour for a 10-minute segment. Love this.
Go.
Right, on the 9th of April, which just went, passed a couple of days ago, Age of Empires
Oh
2
my
HD
God.
edition came out, which
So
I'm not
excited.
I'm not getting into it because I know I'm gonna spend hours upon hours if I did.
So excited. Feudal Age, here I come. Feudal Age, here I come. Okay, I was never really big into strategy games until my partner on the Canoe Tippers channel got me into them. I was never really into overhead strategy games or games of that nature until the dude that I run my channel with got me into them, and now I'm obsessed with them. I love strategy games. Like, they're so much fun.
Yeah.
So for them to release the new one is just amazing. I'm so excited for it because we got the old one and we played it for a while, and
Well-
yeah, I like it.
Well, this one is old, but it's a HD remake.
It's
Age of
it's-
Empires?
Yeah, Age of Empires 2.
I'm excited for it. I gotta say, I'm on the boat for this one. I'm on it.
Well, I'm good.
Okay. Take me away.
So, our little hour-long podcast looks like it's going to be going for 2 hours. Would you guys like to take a break this week, just at the hour mark?
We can, or we can continue. It is completely up to you guys. I'm
Ah,
merely a
I'm
guest
fine
amongst.
to carry on.
I'd like to take a break so I can get some water.
All right, I'm merely a guest amongst the hosts. You guys
Well,
have the
you-
steering wheel.
Well, with the way this is,
just
well, if the way this is going, if you agree to it, you're probably going to be a permanent occasional host like Tanner is when he can.
like Tanner is when he can.
when
Yeah.
you start
I'm-
working
I-
at
So
his
whenever you want to
usual-
come on, you've got a free pass. I'll just put you on the occasional host list as long as Tanner's not on.
All right. This sounds good. I will definitely consider that offer. I'm having a blast doing this. I
So
must
everyone
say.
knows the 3-hour, 4-hour long podcast. They have you in it. That's the one. That's good.
So
I
what-
like long podcasts. It's just we've only been able to really cover things for an hour before.
All right. So are we on break or are we taking a break?
All right, we'll take a break. The stream won't. The stream? We don't have a stream.
One day we will.
Wish.
One day we will. Yes.
When
But
we get more subscribers.
yeah, when we have more people who actively want to engage with the podcast. Anyway, we will have a break, and yeah. So we'll be back, but you won't see anything. So why am I even saying this?
Just hit the end button.
Yeah.